Hi, I'm Gabe Risman. I'm the co-founder of Your Stake, and I am here today to show you a quick walkthrough of the Your Stake platform. This is focused on financial advisors, and it's the Your Stake reporting tools and questionnaire features. Please contact us if you'd like a demo of our company screener, our fund screener, or any of our enterprise tools and institutional tools. So Your Stake's mission is to be able to make ESG and socially responsible and impact investing more meaningful. The way that we do that is by providing personalization and transparency. The personalization starts with a client values discovery questionnaire. So on Your Stake, there are two ways to be able to do that. The first is we have a link that you can embed in your website so that anyone going on your website can take the values discovery questionnaire and then will show up in your dashboard so you can reach out and have a conversation about those values. The next thing you can do is add a prospect manually. So I've added in our sample prospect and created a unique questionnaire link that we can then walk through with this prospect on a screen share, or you can send this link for them to go through on their own. The Your Stake questionnaire is designed to be Myers-Briggs style and behavioral. We've found from our focus groups and from talking to a lot of advisors that is way more successful and helps catalyze a conversation to have these types of questions instead of asking clients or prospects, hey, what are all the things that you want to invest in and what do you not want to invest in? This is much more meant for discovery and catalyzing that conversation. So questions that you'll see here are examples. One example would be companies should pay workers a living wage, even if that means employing fewer people. So these types of questions are not ones that have an obvious correct answer. And there's really no judgment that's implied here. So I can answer in the way that one of our sample prospects answered to give a sense of how this goes. So a company can't succeed without gender diversity. Prisons don't effectively deter crime. This person was a meat eater. And you can see as we're going through this that for these questions, there's no necessarily one ESG persona that goes throughout. So there are people that are vegans and they would never eat animals, but they might also be gun owners, and then they might also be climate activists. And then you might have other people that don't really care so much about climate change. They would never own a gun, and they're really into human trafficking and wanting to avoid forced labor. So all of these different personas are important to be able to get because you don't want to have a conversation with someone on ESG that's an immigration activist and then you present them a company that is lobbying against immigrant rights, for example. You want to make sure that no matter how good they are on climate change or whatever other issues, you want to make sure that the story that you're telling about ESG actually matches what this client cares about most and what they're looking for. So now I'll finish up these last couple of questions and then we can see what happens as a result. So when this questionnaire is completed, you'll see buckets of personas that this prospect falls into based on their top questionnaire responses. So there's a number of possible personas, and the ones that resonate most with this prospect are planet protector, female empowerer, anti-racist, peacemaker, and health defender. And for each of these metrics or personas, there are metrics that are associated that will show up and help you customize the Your Stake reporting. So for example, a planet protector would be interested in seeing environmental violations associated with their portfolios or toxic air pollution associated with their portfolios. So now what we can do is go back to this page and reload our prospect section. We can see that the values have loaded in for our sample prospect. And now we can select a model portfolio to run a report on. So for example, I happen to upload a test portfolio. I called it the Your Stake ESG SRI sample. And this would be your ESG model portfolio that you could then run your model portfolio on the specific values of the sample prospect. And if you want, you can have full customization ability to select different values and get very granular about the specific metrics that you're displaying. So the Your Stake ESG SRI sample or your ESG sample portfolio is going to be shown compared to a blended benchmark overall based on the style categories of your investments. And Your Stake works for mutual funds, ETFs, as well as individual companies. And when you scroll down to be able to see some of the details, you can see that your portfolio has less tobacco exposure than the benchmark, and fewer dollars in workplace health and safety violations, and less toxic air pollution. And what's really cool about Your Stake as well is not only can you show the performance relative to the default benchmark, but you can also compare your ESG portfolio to a prospect's portfolio, existing portfolio on the specific issues that they care about. So if we scroll down, we might be able to show that there's 78% less toxic air pollution in this portfolio compared to the benchmark. And that's where the Your Stake transparency features come into play. Because if you ever have a question as to why or what that means or what's going on, the Your Stake click-throughs allow you to see details about why toxic air pollution matters, see that a lower number means that there's less toxic air pollution, and then you get to see the fund managers, the ticker symbols, the example dollars invested, the toxic air pollution in these funds versus the prospect portfolio. And then if you want to click in to see where some of your toxic air pollution is coming from within the specific funds, then Your Stake allows you to go further and actually do a full holdings look through to see which companies are flagged for toxic air pollution and why. So you can see the specific facilities, their locations, how much air pollution. And then if you click this down arrow, you can see even more. In addition to this style of report, we also have comparison report styles, which are really great for showing the impact delta essentially between the ESG portfolio that you have and a prospects portfolio. Comparison absolute is great as a health check. So you can show a prospect that really cares about tobacco that they have some tobacco in their portfolio, 0.5%. And you can really take that out in your ESG portfolio. And you can do a diagnostic on the issues that they care about and see where they stand. Then our comparison relative style is great for showing, hey, if you were to switch from your portfolio into the ESG portfolio that you as an advisor might be recommending, here's the difference that you can create, and here's what will actually be happening. You'll be taking out 78% of the toxic air pollution and adding 60% more clean energy companies and way less environmental violations and less prison industry exposure, whatever it may be. The next thing that I'd love to show is in the Your Stake Champion tier, which is our metaphor and institutional style reporting. So our metaphor reports take that toxic air pollution and translates that into asthma attacks, or it takes carbon emissions and translates that into acres of forest or cars off the road. And it can show you how many fewer chickens are killed as that in your portfolio compared to the prospect portfolio, the existing portfolio. And the way that we do this is as a measure of responsibility. If you own 1% of a company, you're responsible then as an owner for 1% of its activities. So again, we have the same click-throughs where you'd be able to see the breakdown of toxic air pollution and the conversion for how we get from toxic air pollution to asthma attacks. And then you can see based on how much you invest in your portfolio that you'd be responsible for, proportional to your ownership, a certain amount of asthma attacks because of that toxic air pollution. Finally, in the champion tier, Your Stake provides institutional style reporting. These reports are multi-page in nature and have a table of contents, provide our full approach to data and what we do in data gaps, links, metrics to the Sustainable Development Goals, and then provides a portfolio coverage overview before showing the same metrics as we showed before in the other reports. And at the bottom of the impact reports, we pull in shareholder engagement for fund managers that are conducting engagement activities. So here we're looking through mutual fund impact reports to be able to pull in stories of when fund managers are pushing companies to change and when those changes are actually happening as a result of shareholder advocacy. So you can see the tallies and the stories on this part of the portfolio report. All of these reports as well are able to be previewed to enlarge, or you can download a PDF to be able to share with clients. So that is a brief overview of the Your Stake questionnaire and reporting features. Again, please reach out if you have any questions or if you'd like to see our company and fund screening modules. Hope this was helpful, and we look forward to working with you.